You never know.
You wanna?
Welcome back to Dumb and Broke. My name's Chelsea.
And I'm Bryan.
And here we are.
I love that. It's just us two.
Yeah.
We had a third, but he left. And, you know, he's a little sassy. You may have heard of him before. You want to introduce him?
His name is Noah, and he's hit the grid a couple times, but I would say his most recent debut on your feed was really popular.
He was like, I thought I looked cute, and then I saved the video of him for last, and every single comment on that post was, Noah, Noah, Noah. It's like, what about me?
Because he looks like sweet and angelic. It really should have just been Noah's post.
Yeah. Well, it sucks because like while we were setting up for the podcast, Noah was literally chilling right here on the table, like as if he was our third guest. And then as soon as we started rolling, he dipped.
Exactly.
It was my fault because you guys were having a moment.
Which is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Which is rare, but I'll take whatever time I can get.
I feel like I'm out of breath. And I like did pretty much nothing. I realized that like I haven't even left my apartment today.
Oh.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Can't relate.
What's new with you?
What is new with me? Literally nothing.
Nice.
I'm trying to think.
That's nice
what sometimes. What do we talk about? It is.
Yeah.
It is. I feel like I'm coming up on a busy few weeks. And this is like my last somewhat free weekend going into it.
Nice. Will I see you this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to Taylor Swift drag brunch.
Yes, we are. I'm excited.
What's new with you?
You know, I feel like I've been like really like taking care of myself lately, like in every sense. Like I've mentioned therapy, which has been really nice. Although today I got humbled by my therapist, which
so annoying when they don't agree with everything that you have to say.
This was like the first time like she like really truly didn't validate my feelings, and I was like, I wanted to be like, do you know the last therapist I had who didn't tell me what I wanted to hear got fired? So be careful.
I pay you.
Right. But no, in all honesty, like I needed that. Like it was actually kind of nice. I did like literally like see myself or feel myself, actually see myself, because let's face it, it's a virtual session and I'm looking at myself like 90% of the time. I really like saw myself like almost start to shut down once like I felt like I was almost being lectured, and in a good way. I doubt she listens to this. Well, she should.
If I was a therapist, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
If I was a therapist, there's no way I would not shoot for a larger amount of context. I would, and this is why I'm not a therapist, I would stalk all of your socials.
Oh, yeah.
I would need to know the names of whoever you're talking about, because I need a picture.
Same.
I need a picture.
And I'm such an open book with her. I give them all the names of the people I'm talking about. Her. My therapist is a woman. I said him, right? Her.
Give them. Maybe it was a them.
Yeah. Well, I give her all like names, and like, so if she wanted to, she really could like stalk everyone that I'm talking about. And my Instagram's public, so I
like to think that mine does.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes me feel better.
I know I would, because like I feel like it's helpful. I mean, I'm sure it's not in like their handbook or their training to like do that. It's probably the opposite actually, but like there's no way they don't.
I've recently been, because I don't know much about my therapist, like things about her, but she's recently been giving me like little tidbits here and there. Like I told her, and it makes me feel so. That's validating for me, because I told her I went to the museum this weekend. She's like, "Oh, I love that museum," and I'm like, "Oh, we'd be friends."
You know, I think about that too. I think me and my therapist would actually be friends. And today's session, you know, she was just like, "How are you doing?" And I tell her, and I'm like, "How are you?" And like this time, I like I paused and I really thought about like I just asked my therapist, "How are you doing?" And I literally said like, "Is it weird for like someone in my position to be asking you how you're doing?" She's like, "No, it's not weird. Like, you know, people say this all the time, but it's like I'm a human too. I was like, I know, but like, what if you were like, you know what? I'm actually really bad.
Can I talk about it?
That's what I said to her. I was like, if you like weren't doing well, like, do we talk about it? And she just laughed. So
that was a
no. She's like, shut the fuck up and let's get back to your problems, honey, because you have a lot.
Yeah. I actually think I would enjoy being a therapist.
Me too.
Well, you also get to deflect a lot of your own feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then they're like, oh, this is not about me. This is about you. But really, you're getting tea.
Does your therapist ever like use their own like real life examples? Like, oh, I have this friend and like we did this and like.
Mine usually, she doesn't say like her friends or anything. It's more like I've seen this before in this hypothetical case, which makes me think she's always talking about other clients, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's great. Like, I know you're a huge advocate for therapy. I'm like a newcomer, and I'm starting to really appreciate it. And like, even if it's like a hard session afterwards, I feel good. Even if it was like a whole hour of like me talking about things that aren't good. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because even like think about whatever today was, and you talk about things with your friends, and we're going to validate you in a different way, or we're going to agree with you because we're very like-minded. Like, you don't have really anyone that's going to like seriously challenge
be like
your
totally
thoughts.
Unbiased.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually brought you and Tegan up today because I gave you a lot of credit because I feel like today in particular, I don't feel like you and Tegan like validated exactly my feelings. I feel like you and Tegan do a really good job at like giving me a holistic view of what could be. Like, I know a lot of people would just be like, fuck that bitch. You know what I mean? Like, just because I'm like, fuck that bitch. Like, but you guys don't really do that, which is, I think, a good friend. So,
yeah. Well, I'm like, yeah, I am. I am a good friend.
But other than therapy, like I'm also like I've been like really obsessed with like learning about finances, which I know I'm so sorry guys. Like I'm sure you're like, okay, this is the point. This is the part where I turn it off. But like honestly, I'm actually frustrated that like I don't know as much as I do. Like I never knew as much as I do now, you know? And honestly, I'm gonna thank TikTok because like I didn't know what the fuck a high yield savings account was.
You're talking to me as you and Tegan, we have a group chat. And Brian's like, do you guys have a high yield savings account? And then him and Tegan just like go on this back and forth. And I felt so insecure because I was like,
but you have one.
No, I don't.
Oh, you said you use some company and like, I
don't think it's I actually don't really know what the difference is. So, Are we gonna talk about it? We're gonna suss it out right now.
Well, guys, if you didn't know, no, but honestly, like I feel like it's important to share because if you guys don't have one, like it seems like the dumbest thing not to have. So like most people just use their bank. Like I use Bank of America, so I have my checkings account, you know, so I have a debit card, and I have a savings account because it's just easy, you know, and I could just transfer between my accounts. But I don't know if you noticed, but like in your savings account in your bank, like.
You never accrue anything.
I get like 9 cents a month.
Yeah.
And like I just like never think about it because I don't understand the whole purpose of a savings account. But like if you do, like the money's sitting there. Like the bank wants you to have.
I feel like the purpose might be to save.
Well, but like okay. The purpose of a bank is what I mean.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not gonna get there. But anyways, these high yield savings accounts, your money earns way more interest. Like at Bank of America, I'm earning like 0.35%, but in a high yield savings account, it's like 4.35. 4.35. So like you're earning way more. Like I'll be getting like $40 or $50 a month as opposed to 9 cents per month. I don't know the math, but that's a lot per year. Like that's like $600 a year just for my money sitting there.
Right.
So it's like, why didn't I know about this sooner?
True.
I'm pissed.
There's so much that I don't know.
Yeah.
About that I feel like I would like to, but then I don't know. It also makes me nervous.
Same. Money is scary.
So something that I talked about in therapy is my therapist made this association between something, it was something stupid, but something I was putting off that like I knew would make me feel better, but I just wouldn't do it. And there's nothing that annoys me more that I don't understand, that I was just like venting to her, and she was like, yeah, it was like the devil you know is always more comfortable than the heaven you don't, even if, because there's like even if something is bad and you know that it's bad, but you don't know what the other side necessarily feels like because you've never been there. Cleaning my apartment. Sometimes I just don't want to clean my apartment, even though I know that having a clean apartment will make me feel really good.
Yeah.
There's just like, and I sit there anxious in a dirty apartment, but I'm like, I'm anxious for no reason. And that bothers me. And she's like, well, you're comfortable like sitting in that anxiety feels comfortable for you. Then if the anxiety is removed, then it's like, okay, well, what's going to replace it? Could be something good, could not be something good. But so the devil you know is always better than the devil or the heaven that you don't.
That's so real.
It kind of pisses me off because it's like, why is my own mind playing tricks on me? Like
that, like actual scenario literally happened to me like this week. Like there's times where I'm like, it's like 9-10 o'clock. Like I don't want to be doing anything. I just want to like relax. But I get like these like anxious moments where like, I know that like, it's just not clean enough in here. I don't necessarily want to do it, but like, I'm not going to be comfortable until I do it. So I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the exact scenario. It was really like I had clothes, like I had clothes that were still on my couch from Jamaica that I just like have not folded, that I was just moving from spot to spot every single day because I did not want to put them up. But then I would lay down and I felt like I couldn't relax because like I knew that there's like a to-do list of things in my head. But yeah. So that exact scenario. But so I think about that with money, where it's like, oh, like I think that there's all these things that I can do, but I'm comfortable where I am when I like could just be so much better off.
Yeah, like, and it's just like the lack for like the finance stuff. Like, it's just like I just don't get. It seems like someone's like withholding information from me, and I'm like, I feel left out.
Right.
But like I spoke to a financial advisor a couple weeks ago. Cause I don't know. When I say like I've been taking care of myself, like I've been taking care of myself.
You're on your grown-up bullshit.
Yeah, it was actually really nice, and like it was nice, but it was also because like I was like, it's my time to like start investing because I don't do any of that shit. Again, I got humbled. He was basically like, "Honey, you're in no position to be investing because I have a lot of student loans." He was like, "Focus on your student loans." I was like, "I have no plans on paying those student loans, but okay, thank you, bye."
I think that's the stressful part for me is I also have student loans, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay those off. It would actually be not financially wise for me to pay them off.
Why is that?
Because they accrue so much interest, but they'll also be forgiven after 20 years that like I will end up paying more if I try and pay a lot and pay them off rather than just like paying the bare minimum for 20 years.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm like kind of in the same boat as you. My student loans are so annoying because it's like I'm 10 years out of college and I owe more right now than I did when I got out of college.
Oh my gosh, same.
And I've been paying like minus the couple of years of like the pandemic where they, we didn't have to pay. I was paying consistently for like 8 years every single month. Why do I owe more now?
And it's also just insane. Speaking of like withholding information, how when you're 18 years old with no like, my parents didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. They're just like, yeah, you fill out the FAFSA. And they're like, here, I'll give you an absurd amount of money. I could buy a house. They're like, yeah, for sure. You're good for it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I was like 17 years old. I wasn't even an adult. I couldn't even buy a fucking pack of cigarettes, but I was able to sign for tens of thousands of dollars.
You're joking.
It doesn't make sense.
You're joking.
And now you want me to pay it back?
Yeah. And now they're like, okay, this is the deal. You signed up for this. And I was like, did I? I also feel like I was tricked into believing that this degree was necessary and was going to change the trajectory of my career. And I can assure you that it wasn't. I made a lot of good friends, but I also feel like I would have made friends outside of it. So
yeah, I will say I'm using my degree, but I'm sorry. You thought it was a good idea to lend a 17-year-old $50,000. Like, joke's on you. Like, you're stupid.
LOL.
Yeah, like...
Shut up. Yeah. See yourself to the bank.
Get over it.
Not coming from me.
Like, stop emailing me. Stop mailing me. Like, get over it.
Right. Which also makes me think, like, how do colleges actually make money? Because does it come from the government? Are people just out here, like, literally paying cash for college? You know how parents, like some kids' parents, not my parents, had like college funds set up to pay for college? Or some people I know just didn't go to college. They're like, oh, I didn't have the money for it. And I'm like, what do you mean? You just signed the form. Yeah. And then here we are dealing with the repercussions of our actions.
Oh my God. I had a few jobs during college, but one of them was I worked at the alumni center, where it was a call center, and we called alumni begging for money so that things like, the rec center could operate and that we could build a football stadium, which my university still does not have to this day. But that was one of I remember, so I must have been like 18 years old. I think I was getting paid like $9.50 an hour, which was a lot.
It's huge.
Because like
minimum wage is like $7.25.
Right. So every previous job before that was like $7.25. So I was like, wow, like I'm rich. I was so excited. But that fucking job sucked. Like cold calling people, I got cussed the fuck out. I remember it was like daylight savings. So like my shift was like 6 to 9, something like 6 to 9 p.m. And I called someone.
You made $27. That's crazy.
I think we got like bonuses based on like if we got I don't know. Yeah. But I called someone, I guess it was like 8:00, but the person must have not changed their clock. So it was like 9:00 for them. And like, I went through my whole spiel, like, hi, like I'm Bryan, I'm blah, 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 blah. Would you care to donate $50, blah, blah. And this guy was like, you're fucking calling me at 9:00 on a Tuesday night? How the fuck dare you? And I was like, sir, it's 8:00. He's like, no, it's fucking 9:00. I'm like, I couldn't, like, I was like, you're not going to win. Like, it's 8:00.
Okay, well, your degree didn't work because...
It was just like wild. And I was like, yeah, I quit that one. That job sucked.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
I get the phone calls every once in a while. Number one, I don't answer. Two, like, I'm sorry.
I never got
I don't even have a high yield savings account, so I can't be.
I've never gotten calls from them, but like if I did, I probably would sit through it just because I know the pain. And the thing that sucked about the job is like you had like my boss would listen in every now and then, and they were all recorded, I think. But like we were required to ask 4 times before we let it go. So it's like you ask one time, and it's they usually are like, no, like I have like a lot going on, blah blah blah. Then you go, okay, and you like go on another spiel. Would you be comfortable with blah blah blah? And if they say no, okay, and you do it again. It's only acceptable to like say, okay, thank you for your time after the 4th no. I'm like, that's wild. Can you imagine? Like, it's just no.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I just like struggle so hard with that. So yeah.
I believe it.
But I feel for them. So if you guys call me USF, I'll entertain you. I may even give you $10.
10 whole dollars?
Hey,
wow.
Yeah. All right, I'm over that. Okay, before we dive into controversial opinions, this is the time where we remind you to subscribe to the podcast.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, please. Like if you're, just listening to this with your cute little headphones or you're watching us on YouTube, just, pause it. Go to YouTube. If you don't have a YouTube account, make one. No, but seriously, we need subscribers. Like that's really
Just click
going
that
to,
little button.
yeah, we'd really appreciate it. But speaking of like the podcast, when you tell someone that you have a podcast, or I feel like oftentimes someone else announces it for you, like Chelsea has a podcast, the first question people ask is, what is it about? What do you say?
Literally nothing.
I heard you go, literally me. Like, I literally don't know how to answer that question.
I said I just riff with my friends for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I usually like say the first half we just like, talk shit. And then the second half we talk about controversial opinions.
Yeah, I think if they dive a little deeper, then I'm like, well, one thing that's consistent is we do controversial opinions.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to know that.
Yeah. I did have a guy tell me the other day that he told me Dumb and Broke wasn't a good name. He was like, I feel like we're manifesting that by saying that our name is Dumb and Broke. And I was like, yeah, but I think that's like the sarcasm in it, because like we know that we're not destined to be dumb and broke.
Yeah.
We're just dumb sometimes, but eventually we'll also be rich.
We're also like not like really broke.
Yeah.
We're not like, you know what I mean?
We live in New York City on our own.
We're not rich. Don't get us wrong. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get us right. Don't get us wrong. We're not like rich, but we're not broke and we're not dumb. It's just like, it's
like we have savings accounts.
I have a high yield savings account. Have you not heard? But it's ironic. It's funny.
Yeah.
Dare I say?
Isn't it ironic?
Okay. Let's
get controversial.
Yeah. I found some on the internet, and my friend, our friend, I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants me to know that he said this. He has a few. He's a 10, but
oh yes,
there's 3 of them.
Okay, great.
He's a 10, but his feet smell.
I don't have to smell him, so I would say he's a 9.
Oh, I'm giving him
like how bad do they smell?
I mean, if you're writing this, they probably smell really bad. They're probably noticeably smelly. I'm giving him a 5. Like what if he's a 10, but he's known as a guy with smelly feet?
Okay, known as a guy with smelly feet. 5. Okay. Yeah.
Are you sure? Or are you just saying that because I said it?
No.
5.
It's like known as a guy that makes you less hotter.
Yeah.
Less hot.
Okay, I agree. He's a 10, but his texts are green.
A 9.
Yeah, I'll just drop him down 1. It's not like I feel like that's kind of
it's annoying when I want to send you like videos and stuff, but aside from that, whatever.
Yeah, it's not gonna like take away of my love for you. Like I think people it's a joke, when people are like, oh my god, his texts are green. Like, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, this guy likes feet. He's a 10, but he doesn't cut his toenails.
I mean, 8.
But now
like
I'm picturing
how long are they?
They're curling.
Guinness World Record, the long. Okay, well then no, like they're not. You're not a normal human being. Like, how is he a 10 is what I'm saying. How is he a 10 if his toenails curl like this? That's not a thing.
Because he hides them in his...
No.
He sent me these like 2 weeks ago, and like I didn't really read them. I just like took the screenshot of the text and I was like saving it for whenever we got to them. So I never really like read them. And now that I'm reading them, I'm like,
why was I so passionate about the toenails?
These are so stupid. Okay, he's a 10 but is over. So let's go to the next. This is actually a good one to speak on today. This one says, money can buy happiness.
To an extent.
Yeah, I agree. It can buy happiness. It's not like it's not everything, but like, I guarantee you if I say here's $1 million, you're smiling from cheek to cheek.
Yeah. But I think there is a point. I read something once that was, which I think this is outdated or maybe it was in a different market that was not New York, but it was like that people don't, like the happiness line is like $75,000 to $80,000 a year. And then at that point, if you make more, you're not necessarily happier or more fulfilled. And if you make less, you are typically less happy. That's like I would say it's probably like maybe like $100,000 here. When you go higher, yeah, you can like have more freedom, I guess. But I wouldn't say that is necessarily the thing that is more fulfilling, unless you're like making more money doing something that you love.
Yeah.
Like if you're just making more money and doing something that is still like meh, then really doesn't.
That reminds me, like I have some like friends who are like doctors or about to be doctors, and like the hours that they work and like the shit that they have to do, like to me, it is not worth I'm sure their paychecks are fat.
I feel like you really have to love it.
Right. And I think that's another controversial opinion actually that will
Yeah.
relate to that thought that you're about to say.
For me, I genuinely don't think that money matters to an extent in my career, but I don't think I could do something. I know that I couldn't do something that I hated for a career, even if I made tons of money and be happy. I wouldn't be happy.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, we were just saying, like, I don't want to work, period. So imagine having to work hard.
Right.
Not for me. Unless I loved it, but I don't see that for me. I just noticed, well, not just noticed, but I just was reminded because I just heard myself speak. And sometimes when I listen back to the podcast, I sound like Kermit.
The frog?
Like Kermit, like that. I sound like I feel like I sound like him.
I don't feel that way.
Okay, good. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, your career should be more important than your relationships.
No.
Like, who the hell wrote that?
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this before. The older that I get, the less my career matters to me.
Yeah. I like almost. That's so stupid. Your career should be more important than your relationships. In what world?
Yeah.
Like, even if you're curing cancer, like, that's not more.
Which I can guarantee this person probably isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
do we know who this is?
No.
Okay.
This one I think I found
on
some like list. I remember like being young. Like when I was just leaving college, I remember being like, I want to have one of those jobs, because I do PR, if you guys don't know. I want to have one of those jobs that are like all consuming, and I just want to be all about my job and be like that PR girl, you know? And I'm like, where did he go?
It's not fulfilling.
Well, and also like,
it's just,
I can't relate to that like at all right now.
When you get into the grind and you're like, actually, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no. Hard pass.
Yeah. I'm like I'm like, there was last week, someone put a calendar invite, like a meeting invite on my calendar for 5 p.m. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm like, I'm available during these hours. You put a meeting during those hours. It's non-negotiable. Period.
Yeah.
All right. The last one that I have says, the idea of world peace is boring. I read this and I kind of laughed because I'm like, kind of agree. World peace, like,
Oh my gosh, that sounds lovely. But like, I don't see it.
Listen, I'm not for war.
Yeah.
This is what I mean when I say it's boring. I say when two countries have a little conflict, I don't know, put their leaders in like Big Brother.
A cage fight.
No, that's war. I'm talking about put them on like
the leaders.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
They actually have to punch. Like, we've seen grown men punch. I can guarantee you, our nation's leaders, every single one of them, not maybe one of those men can throw a punch. Based on the ratios I've seen, these men can't throw hands. So that would be entertaining as hell.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm sorry, change the subject real quick. Well, to go on what you were just saying, like at the gym that you work at, like I'm not shaming like in anyone, because like if someone's new to the gym, like good for you for being there. But when you get to that punching bag, I can't help but be like, really? Really?
It's an interesting thing. And yeah, definitely never shaming, because if this is something that you've never done before, then this is something that you've never done before. But I feel like it's the guys with the ego that trip me up, that come in and I'm like, wait. Or like even a guy with an ego that comes in, maybe I don't see the ego right away because that's not hot for me. But if they go to the bag and maybe I found them attractive before and then they don't know how to throw a punch, it's like, who would you protect? Well, and then I think of like all of the girls that they've dated and I'm like, if they saw this, no,
seriously. But and like
security is out the window.
But it's not even just like the new guys that come. Sometimes it's like guys who are like really strong. They're like lifting and they're, from my standards, like in good form. Then they get to the punching bags and it's like pew 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 pew. And I'm like, wow, like that's, I don't know. It's just like wild.
Wow.
It's just like, wow, like wow. Okay.
But on the flip side of that, even like a man that's a 5 could come up and like really know how to punch, and then
no, you're a 7.
Easily, maybe even an 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, back to world peace. I just think there's better ways than war.
Well, yeah, but I think world peace would be the goal.
Yeah, fine.
One time, that reminds me, my brother was leaving my house and
I almost punched you.
No, he was leaving the house and he looked at my dad and it's just a saying. He was like, peace in the Middle East, and started to walk out. My dad staring at the TV, not looking at him. He goes, not going to happen. We're like, that's so random and him.
I thought you were like, and true.
Also, kind of though. But is peace going to happen anywhere is the thing. Like, our own country's got its own.
Yeah, let's get into the Israel and Palestine. No, I'm kidding. Let's not do that. Do you have some controversial opinions?
Yes.
Let's go to those.
Yes. I don't know if they're necessarily controversial. They're more just like general questions. Could be controversial if you are any of the people that I'm referring. Have you ever, how like some big gyms will have scales that are like to weigh yourself that are just like right out in the open? Mm-hmm. Have you ever weighed yourself on one of those?
No, but have you ever been to a public supermarket?
Yes.
So they're like really popular in Florida and like in the southern states. They have, I don't know if this is like a common thing for supermarkets, but I've never seen it in any other supermarket.
The arm thing?
No. Oh. Right when you walk in, there is a scale. A large scale where you can step on and weigh yourself.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It may be for like groceries when you're leaving or something, but like everyone just stands on it and weighs themselves. That I have done, but I have not weighed myself honestly in like 3 years.
I think that's psychopath behavior.
To not weigh yourself for 3 years?
No.
Oh.
No. That's great. That's healthy, actually. Yeah. I think so. There's at one of the gyms that I work at. There's a scale that's just out. It's like right by the front door too. When you walk in, people go fully clothed, full shoes, just step on, take a peek, and walk off. And I'm just like, what are you looking at?
Are the numbers
also midday?
Are the numbers on the bottom or up?
At like eye level,
so like anyone could see.
Anyone could see. And I'm like, it is midday. Like you've eaten, surely. You've got your shoes on, your clothes on. I have weighed, but I'm full. There's nothing that's giving me an extra 0.1 pounds.
If I'm going to weigh myself, it's first thing in the morning, butt ass naked.
Exactly. To me, that's just the only way to do it. And maybe it's just guys who like want to weigh more that weigh during that time, but I just think that's crazy.
That's true. You have to think about it. There, like, if you're like trying to weigh more, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know what that feels like. But then what's my next one? My next one is, do you know or are you the type of person that just has like one tab open on your computer or your phone?
On my computer at work, I definitely have multiple tabs. My phone, no, I'm like obsessed with clearing. Like, I have OCD, so I am constantly clearing everything. Like, if you open my phone, there's nothing open.
So even if you were to go to Safari on your phone, you would only have one browser.
Yeah, and it would be blank because I would have exited out before I left.
That's wild.
I can't do notifications. Like, you won't see a single notification on my phone. Like, all emails have been read. There's no numbers on any of my icons. I can't live like that.
I get the notifications. Like I know people that have like 300 plus unread text messages, and I'm like, you're ill. I'd throw my phone in the river. But the tabs, like I was thinking about it today. I have open tabs on everything that are just always like running. I think that's mentally too. But I've never known anybody that just had one or like cleared things out.
Hello.
Crazy.
You're looking at one.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have shit open. I'm going to prove it to you.
Prove it right now.
Nothing.
Whoa.
I have favorites. I have bookmarks, but nothing's open. And like the only thing that's open is like the controversial opinions and the stopwatch.
Interesting. Wow.
What does that say about us?
I feel like your mind is more clear. You're also a cleaner individual than I am. Or I guess more organized.
Organized, yeah. I don't think I'm like super, I'm clean, but I'm not like, you can find some dust on these shelves.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it's an organized space is an organized mind. So I hear.
I get like true anxiety if like there's too much going on.
But I do too, but I just didn't, as we've discussed earlier. Anyway, next,
what else you got?
Do you think Beyonce is bringing country music back?
Did country music go away?
You tell me.
I mean, I've never been like a country connoisseur. Remember last year, I thought you were like a country girl, and apparently you're not.
I mean, I like country music.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm like, I think in certain areas, country is more prevalent. But do you think she's going to bring country music to a whole new group of people that would not have listened to country music otherwise?
No.
You don't think so?
I think Beyonce has such a strong fan base that she could literally fart in the booth and Beyonce fans will be like, Queen, that's Queen, literally. So like she can do whatever, you know? I don't think people are going to listen to this and they're like, oh, now I'm going to go listen to.
So you really think they'd only listen to Beyonce's album and they wouldn't touch any other branch of country?
I don't think so.
I don't think you're probably right. Now that I think about it, yeah, they'll listen to the album.
Yeah,
they'll listen to
and they'll love
Beyonce's
it.
album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see them branching out into other forms of country music.
Like, well, I guess it's a bad example, but like, you know, when Taylor Swift went from country to pop, I was going to say, it's not like she brought pop, like pop was already a thing. But that's what I'm saying. I think country has always been a thing too. Like, so I guess in a way Beyonce's introducing it to people who never listen to it. But I don't think it's going to make them listen to Tim McGraw.
Yeah. Fair.
Did he die?
He did die.
Like recently, right?
RIP. Yeah. I think he was really sick. I think he had cancer.
That's sad. Was he a good guy?
Never heard anything bad.
Okay.
Taylor Swift wrote a song about him.
Yeah. That was like her first like kind of single, I think.
Yeah. Wow. We're going to have a moment of silence for Tim McGraw.
R.I.P. Tim McGraw. If you were a good man. If not, then
we're going to delete this. Yeah. Well, guys, that's it.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. Yeah. I hope you learned something.
Yeah.
Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. Go to therapy. Get a high yield savings account.
Yes. Thank you.
And yep.
See you on the next one.
Bye.